तमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasa Gocharam Atmanam Akhiladharam Ashraye Bhishta Siddhaye Arthato Pyadvayanandan Atitadvaita Bhanatah Guruna Radhya Vedanta Saram Vakshe Yathamati. Hari Om. We had seen the portion of Sthula Upadhi, the gross conditioning. We started the discussion with how Panchikaranam takes place. From Panchamahabhutas, how all the elements get combined mutually to give rise to Sthula Panchamahabhuta. And then Swamiji said, from these Panchamahabhutas only, all 14 worlds are created. So we entered that discussion about what is superiority about those worlds. Why are they called superior worlds? So from the standpoint of Jnana, Sukham, and freedom, Ananda, the joy that they experience, the freedom that they have, and the knowledge that they have in those lokas, that is greater. That is why they are called as higher lokas. Then came the discussion about the 4 types of shariras, the 4 types of yonis that one can have. And again, there the point was, so many species are there, but to get a human birth amongst all of them is indeed very rare. Meaning, whenever we get something, if we want to appreciate what is the importance of that thing, the question we should ask is, what is the uniqueness of this thing? Right? What is that thing which only this particular entity can accomplish and others can't? So if we ask this question for physical body, say bhoga, enjoyment which is there, it is available for all shariras. And we saw that point also. What we might think is not a good bhoga, but that jiva doesn't think that way. So bhoga is available for everybody. So what is the uniqueness of human birth? We say human birth has karma swatantrya. It has the freedom to choose our response, which other yonis don't have. Other yonis are prakrutika yonis. Prakrutika means instinctive. Whatever is their swabhava, like that only they'll be throughout. Lion will not become mellower with age. The cow will not become, it will not become carnivorous with time. Nothing like that. Whatever is their swabhava, it will stay forever. But human beings, on the other hand, we have swatantrya. Karma swatantrya we have. We can choose our response. We can intelligently evolve. These are all from Kenopanishad Bhashya. Bhagavan says that samarthya, vikasa samarthya is there in Manushya Janma. One evolution happens naturally. Right? The body adapts. Darwin's theory, so many things he says, evolves based on the surrounding. But evolution of mind doesn't happen naturally. For that, we have to put forth effort Every time we get an opportunity, response should be different. So that part we saw of all yonis which are there. Then Swamiji said, Samashti Sthula Sharira Upahita Chaitanya. Samashti Sthula Sharira Upahita Chaitanya is called as Vaishvanara or Virat. And Vyashti Sthula Upahita Chaitanya is called Vishwa. Vishwa, that is the name that was given. Another name was, of course, the Upadhi's name was Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha, but we don't need to go into details of why it is Annamaya Kosha. We already saw that part. Vishwa, it was called because it is the counter for my interaction with the world. Only when I have identification with physical body, only then am I cognizing the world. So it is a doorway for my interaction with Vishwa. Means whatever I am doing for Vishwa, right? Whatever I am thinking about Vishwa, I should not miss this body identification in and through that thinking. What I mean by that is, in Bhagavatam it is asked, one question is asked, what is Vishaya Sakti? What is called as desire for sense objects? The answer given is, Deha Sakti is Vishaya Sakti. Attachment to the physical body or thinking I am this physical body, he says that is called as Vishaya Sakti. Means what is hinted there is, only when I think myself to be this person so strongly, that is when I want objects from outside to fulfill those desires. Even if I remove this thought for a minute and say, I am not only this person, I am all persons. I am not one Deha, but I am all Deha. So whoever has whichever bhoga, I am only experiencing. Great Mahatmas, this was their very clear vision. They never thought themselves as individual person. Although the sorrow which came, that was for their individual body. Best example is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Towards the later part of his life, when he was going through physical pain, so much sorrow was there, he couldn't swallow. And Vivekananda and other disciples, they ask, you are such a great Mahatma, you can cure yourself. You go and ask Mother Kali, she will cure also. But why is it that you are going through this? He says, where am I suffering? Am I not eating through you? Am I not eating through this other disciple? I am only eating. It is in your eyes you are feeling that I am going through this. But important thing to note there is, physical pain is very well there. Dehatma bhave nyajado samano. Raman Maharshi says, when it comes to experiences at physical body level, the pain that comes to a jnani is the same pain that comes to ajnani also. It is not that jnani is not having pain, ajnani, is having pain, but their way to perceive that pain is different. Ability to respond to that pain is very different. So one way of responding is to expand ourselves from this individual body to all shariras. In terms of pain or in terms of sukham, in particular, any sharira getting sukham, any conditioning getting success, this person feels I am happy even with that. Another way to go beyond pain is abide in Atma Swarupa. Yad drishyam tat mithya. Right? So this conditioning is mithya. On the strength of that also they can transcend pain. Transcend pain means what? They are able to abide in their own nature in spite of pain. Okay, in that way we should look at it. But second one, it's very hard. We know if we have a small backache or a headache and somebody tells us body is mithya, we should not give that advice at that point. If they are sadhakas, they will understand themselves. But for we should think, how would I feel if I were in that person's shoes? Right? If I had headache, what would I like to hear? That only we should tell. Okay. So this part was of different yonis, different shariras were there. 4 different types were pointed out. And then Swamiji went on to naming Vaishwanara and Vishwa. Now after that, we took up a topic of adidaiva. Why did we end up with adidaiva topic? The devatas, the presiding deities across this creation, but most importantly on our sense organs. Mind, that mind part we will see today. But why did we end up in adidaiva topic? We said adhyatma is there. Adhyatma means all my sense organs in this particular example. Wherever I have I notion, erroneous I notion, wherever I have, that is called as adhyatma. So adhyatma has to interact with adibhuta. What is adibhuta? The 5 elements or the world outside. The inert matter which is there, that is adibhuta. So how does this adhyatma directly interact with adibhuta? So we say there is an intermediate entity which governs how this interaction is happening. That interaction, the one who governs, that is called as adidaiva. That is why the word kept coming niyantritena. Niyantritena means governed by. Sense organs are governed by devatas. We saw each devata governing one particular sense organ. In what way do they govern? We said they govern the ability, they govern the range also. Some things I cannot see with my physical eyes. Some things I cannot hear with my physical eyes. Some kind of governing is happening. If we appreciate that point, we can get a window into this topic of adidaiva. Otherwise, generally we feel, I am having all my abilities. Vedantasara Acharya is telling us, those abilities are given to us by somebody. And we should be grateful to the one who has given it. Karma Yoga Siddhanta, it starts from here actually. When Bhagavan says, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. All your karmas, Bhagavan says, offer it unto me. Mai sarvani karmani. Mai means to Bhagavan Vishnu. Bhagavan. Adhyatma chetasa. With this spiritual vision, you offer all your karmas unto me. And many times you get this question, how can I do everything and then offer things to Bhagavan? Or I find it difficult because I feel I am doing everything and you are telling me after I do everything or even before and while doing everything, I should offer my karmas to Bhagavan. So I find that part little difficult. I do something and I give credit to somebody else. So there it is said we should pay attention to what is it that is prompting our doing also. I perform actions with my karmendriyas. I gather information from the world through jnanendriyas. Mind I use. Now all of that, the ability doesn't belong to me. Ability is blessed upon me by devatas. And if one devata decides to go on a vacation, right, like how the Kalaha Shruti we saw, all sense organs they quarrel and they say, who is the greatest amongst all? So one by one they leave and come back after some time. That is when we realize nothing is in my hands. So I'm very grateful, Bhagavan, you have given all these things. So I surrender myself unto you. Then whatever I'm doing is naturally surrendered unto you. I don't have to separately put forth effort. So that part also we should appreciate, how Karma Yoga Siddhanta is rooted in this understanding of devatas. Ability of sense organ doesn't inherently belong to me. Okay, that is what we should take away. Another reason why we were discussing these devatas is we should slow down our life. Slow down our life meaning slow down every experience in life and just appreciate something more unique. Perception, all of us do. Now we are listening, you are seeing something. Some of you might be walking around, getting ready for your day. So all actions are happening after studying Vedantasara, after having this thought. There are presiding deities. We should try to appreciate their presence in our life. Same thing we are doing. We are not changing something unique. I am seeing the same drishya, same object, but in my mind, just remembering that this is Surya Devata's grace, which is there on my eyes, and through that I'm illumining, or the world is illumined for me. I'm walking around just having this thought that Vaman Bhagavan is presiding over my legs. It's not easy to get this thought. It needs special effort. That my entire Sharira is presided over by deities. You're doing something with your hands. Silent prayer to Indra Bhagavan, presiding over my hands. So that divinity in perception of our own physical body and the world outside. That is the main takeaway from this entire prasanga. Adidaiva, that topic we were seeing. Sometimes you might also have a question. I can't remember all these names. Who is presiding deity over which sense organ? Sometimes some details they might not have given, right? Who is presiding over neck? Who is presiding over some, other body part? So we should remember it is one Bhagavan only. One Bhagavan, but because we are specifically looking at one physical, one sense organ, that is why one Devata is mentioned. The one who is the leader of all karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, and everything. All these groups that we have made, right? Karmendriya group, prana group, jnanendriya group, Antakarana group. One who is presiding over all the sense organs, who is it? Bhagavan Ganesha. Ganesha means Gananam Isha. Gana means groups. One group is of Karmendriya. Another group is of Jnanendriya. Another group is of Antakarana, Prana, and so on. The one who presides over all of them, he is the Lord of all sense organs, all other conditionings. That is our Bhagavan Ganesha. That is why we pray to Bhagavan Ganesha before starting anything auspicious. What is the prayer for? That Bhagavan, may my vyavahara be appropriate. May my transaction be divine. May I never forget you in and through this transaction. And may all my karmendriyas be well controlled by you. Right? All speech should be well controlled, listening, seeing. Karmendriya and jnanendriya, all of it should be well controlled by you. The main point is we should not get worried if we don't remember the names. So we should just pray that may Lord Ganesha, who presides over all sense organs, may he be pleased with me. Okay. Last one on this topic is adidaiva. Why are we discussing adidaiva? Bhagavan says in Shiva Gita. Bhagavan Shiva says in Shiva Gita, Bishaya Karana Sura Jiva Sameta Sakala Ekate Eka Sacheta. Means he says, if you want to turn your attention to Bhagavan Rama, according to Lord Shiva, Bhagavan Rama is Shuddha Chaitanya. So he says, if you want to turn attention to Bhagavan Rama, there are steps. What is the first step? He says, from Vishaya, come to Karana. Means from objects, let your attention not always be outside. Little bit it should turn inside. Vishaya Karana. Then come to Sura. Sura means Devatas. All these Devatas that we saw, right? He says, come from Vishaya to Indriyas. From Indriya, come to Sura. From that Sura, come to Jiva. It is even innermost. Jiva means Ahankara. This individuality that is there. there you come. Sakala ekate ekasacheta. All of them are more closer to you and they are more sentient as though. They are showing sentiency. Ahankara shows sentiency. Devatas, of course, are sentient. Sense organs show sentiency. Now inquire into what is the main source of all this sentiency. Sakala ekate ekasachita, sakala ekate sabapara parama prakashakaram. The one who is enlivening all of this, that is Bhagavan Rama. Means Shuddha Chaitanya is Bhagavan Rama. Rama Anadi Avada Pati Soyi. That Bhagavan Rama is my Avadapati Bhagavan, whom I am worshipping outside. What is the main thing he is telling over there is, what is the importance of Devatas in this context? He is saying from Vishaya come to sense organ, from sense organ recognize the presence of Devata, then go to Ahankara, and from there appreciate Shuddha Chaitanya. Okay? All these are just points about adidaiva, why we are discussing this. It's a long paragraph. Do you want me to read it again? I can read it. You can mark if you have missed it. 115th. Tadanim etau vishvavaishvanarau dig vata arka varuna ashvibihi kramat niyantritena Shrotradindriya panchakena kramat shabda sparsha rupa rasagandhan Agni Indra Upendra Yama Prajapati Bhihi kramat niyantritena Vagadindriya panchakena kramat vachana adana gamana visarga anandans Chandra Chaturmukha. I think until this point we had covered. Anandan until that point. Next part you can repeat. Chandra Chaturmukha. Chandra Chaturmukha. Shankara Achyutaihi. Shankara Achyutaihi. Kramat Niyantritena. Kramat Niyantritena. Mano Buddhi Ahankara. Mano Buddhi Ahankara. Chitta khena, antara, indriya, chatushkena, kramat, sankalpa nishchaya, ahankarya chaitanscha, Sarvan etan, sthula vishayan, anubhavatah, jagritasthano bahih prajnah, ityadi shrutehe. So the first adidaiva discussion was for Jnanendriyas. Second adidaiva discussion was for Karmendriyas. So we tried to map the devatas for a specific sense organ, and we also tried to reflect upon why that devata is there for that sense organ. For example, we said Upendra is for legs. We said it was Vaman Avatara. Bhagavan took 3 steps. So in those 3 steps, all steps are included. That's why Vaman Bhagavan becomes presiding deity over feet, and so on. Others are discussed. Now we come to Antakarana. So just like you wrote the 3 rows, right? First row was Adhyatma, second was Adidaiva, third was Adibhuta. You can write only 2 rows for this, Adhyatma and Adidaiva. So first line is the 4 components of Antakarana. What are they? First one is Mana. Second is Buddhi. Mana, Buddhi. Third one is Ahankara. Third one is Ahankara. In Vedantasara sequence, third one is Ahankara. Sometimes you flip it and say Chitta Ahankara. But third one is Ahankara. Fourth one is Chitta. Fourth one is Chitta. Now they have presiding deities. Each one has presiding deities. So this is what is the fourth line. The last word you see. The presiding deity of the mind. Presiding deity of mind is Chandra. Chandra Devata. We should not say Chandra means the moon that I see at night. Not that moon. The sentient principle presiding over that moon. Not Adhibhuta moon, but adidaiva moon. Chandra Devata. That is the presiding deity over the mind. And how would you explain this? Mainly because water and moon, they have some connection. Right? High tide and low tide, we see so much of connection with the moon phases. Full moon day, a lot of high tide is there. In human body, we know it's made up of almost 70% water. So that we cannot dismiss the fact that moon doesn't have impact upon our body, our mind. In particular, Purnima day, when it is full moon day, that is why they have this sadhana that on that day you be in maunam. In some places, they say that they don't speak. Do more japa, do more sadhana, so that this mind is quietened, and after that everything is okay. But just to appreciate this point, that presiding deity over mind is Chandra Devata. Second is Chaturmukha. Chandra Chaturmukha. Chaturmukha is Brahmaji. Brahmaji is presiding deity over Buddhi. Presiding deity over Buddhi is Brahmaji. Now, why is Brahmaji presiding deity over Buddhi? We say Brahmaji is the one from whom all the four Vedas emerged. Right? The four Chaturmukha means four faces of Brahmaji representing one Vedas. And Buddhi is the one that will do grahanam of this. Means it will assimilate it and it will understand it. So that is this Buddhi. The presiding deity of Buddhi is Brahmaji. Means more thinking oriented, whatever has to be done, that is done by Buddhi only. The conclusion part of it, the Nishchaya part of it, that is done by Buddhi. Mind, what does it do? Sankalpa Vikalpa. It evaluates different options and Buddhi is the one that decides. So Brahmaji is a presiding deity over Buddhi. One who has all the Vedas, from whom all the Vedas have emerged. We say, may that be the guiding force for this Buddhi. Isha Bhajanu Sarati Sujana. That Buddhi which is having reverence for Vedas, may that Buddhi become my charioteer. And consort of Brahmaji is Saraswati ji. Saraswati ji is Vani. May my Buddhi and Vani be in tune with Mother Shruti. That is how it is said. Okay, Chaturmukha done. Third one is Shankara. Shankar Bhagavan is Lord Shiva. He is the presiding deity over Ahankara. That is why the sequence is important. Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara. These are the first three components of Antakarana, the inner instrument. So Ahankara, presiding deity is Shankara Bhagavan. Now why Bhagavan Shiva is presiding deity over Ahankara? You know, one name of Lord Shiva is Rudra. Rudra. Another name is Shankara. Rudra means Rodayati Sarvan. One who can make everybody cry. Rodayati Sarvan iti Rudra. And Shankara means one who can make everybody calm. Sham karoti iti Shankara. So based upon the Bhakta, based upon Bhagavan's devotee, he can take both forms. Either he can be Rudra or he can be Shankara. So we should make sure that we develop divine qualities. So Bhagavan appears to us as Shankara. His nature is of the nature of auspiciousness. Shanta Swarupa, Shuddha Chaitanya is Bhagavan Shiva. Bhagavan can take avatara. He can take so many other conditionings and remove this manas santapa from our mind. This ahankara, the more it is, stronger, the more it wants to put itself, itself down and get things done for itself, more it will be having rodhanam. So that is that one ahankara. That same ahankara, if it becomes bhakta ahankara, like Markandeya, you know that story, right? He goes and embraces that Shivalinga. Bhagavan can do whatever it takes for that devotee. So these are the two sides. That's why we said other day, Shankara Acharya. Bhagavan's name is Shankaracharya. Means that Acharya who can give that absolute Shanti. Shankara means one who is of the nature of calmness. But Acharya word means he can very well take the teaching from Upanishad and help us abide in that Shanti. That is our Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji. So Shankar Bhagavan is the presiding deity over Ahankara. One Ahankara is Asuri Ahankara, where it forgets Bhagavan and thinks, I will accomplish everything. Another Ahankara is Bhakta Ahankara or Daivi Ahankara, which does things also, but remembers Bhagavan is the one who is accomplishing it. So for Asuri Ahankara, Bhagavan is Rudra. For Daivi Ahankara, Bhagavan is Shankara, presiding deity over Ahankara. Fourth one is Chitta. Chitta means memory, recollecting things from the past. The presiding deity over Chitta is Achyuta Bhagavan. Another avatar of Lord Vishnu only, Achyuta. Achyuta means who never falls. Chuti means to fall. Achyuta means one who never comes down from his glory. Either you say in his Saguna form, all Bhagas remain intact. Aishwaryasya Samagrasya. Samagrasya means there is no going up and down in Bhagavan's glory. Aishwarya doesn't go up and down. Vairagya doesn't go up and down. Dharma doesn't go up and down. For Jiva, it goes up and down. Anything that Jiva has, conditions apply. It keeps going up and down. But for Bhagavan, it is not like that. So that Achyuta Bhagavan, either you take from Saguna standpoint or Nirguna standpoint, there is no Chuti in Brahma. Brahma is non-dual, it is Advitiya. There is nothing where it can come down. So that is our Achyuta Bhagavan. He is presiding deity over memory. So how will you explain that? Why is Bhagavan Vishnu presiding deity over memory? You can type it also if you have any thoughts. I didn't ask any questions today. Why is Achyuta Bhagavan or Vishnu Bhagavan presiding deity over memory? What did you say? Oh, okay. Only now we got to know that he's presiding deity. That's also fair enough. Because memories are created. Good. You can keep thinking. I'll share one insight. Memories need to be sustained. Memories need to be sustained. I should be able to, get it back at the right time. The right memory at the right time, I should be able to get it back, retrieve. So that Palanam who does, that is our Bhagavan Vishnu. Lord Brahma is creator. Bhagavan Vishnu is the one who sustains. And Lord Shiva is the one who destroys. So from that standpoint, you can get another insight for Lord Shiva, for Ahankara. This Ahankara has to be destroyed one day, dissolved one day. The one who will accomplish that for us is Adi Guru, Lord Shiva. Bhagavan is Guru Swarupa. Adi Guru, right? The foremost teacher is Lord Shiva. Through Mahavakya Upadesha, he will make sure that this Ahankara is dissolved. And Lord Vishnu is a presiding deity over Chitta, memory. So he makes sure that right memories are sustained. That is also important. If we keep remembering all wrong things, that memory is of no use. Okay, I see some other answers here, because he is also Karma Phala Data. From within, he guides us. Memory makes us grateful. If we have good memory, we don't make mistakes. Very good. Example of Arjuna, when he can't get memory at the right time. Yes. Bhagavan remembers Karma Phala of all jivas. Very good. Bhagavan remembers Karma Phala of all jivas. That is why he is presiding over memory. Okay. He is running this creation. Good. All right. So this part was for adidaiva. Adhyatma through adidaiva interacts with adibhuta. We should also sit and reflect on our own. These topics will not open up for us unless we try to reflect upon it on our own. What is the role of adidaiva in my life? That's why in the beginning we said, calmly sit down and just see all perceptions. I'm hearing something, I'm seeing something, I'm smelling something. I'm not doing it on my own. Bhagavan's grace is functioning in and through that. Gratitude, the first part to start is from here. 116th verse, it is talking about the oneness between Vyashti and Samashti. Let us chant that one. Atra api anayoho, sthula vyashti, samashtyoho, tad upahita, vishvavaishvanarayoho, cha vanavrukshavate, tad avachinna, akashavaccha, jalashaya, jalavate, tadgata pratibimba akashavaccha, purvavat abhedah. Atra api, here also, just like it was discussed in the case of Karana and Sukshma. In Sthula also, between Sthula Vyashti and Sthula Samashti. Sthula Vyashti and Sthula Samashti means between the two upadis, between the two conditionings, there is abheda. Between the finite or the individual Sthula Sharira and Samashti Sthula Sharira, there is abheda. Between conditioning, it is pointed out. And this point is easier to appreciate, right? Compared to Sukshma. Sukshma, we find it a little difficult to think that just like I have an individual mind, there is a total mind. And, it is one. Both are really one. But with physical body, at least, it becomes easier to appreciate this point. That whatever, 5 elements are here, the same 5 elements are outside. Not even slight difference between the Prithvi over here and Prithvi outside. In the food that we eat, that Prithvi only has become Sharira. Right? But I don't call that food as me, but I call this Deha as me. One Mahatma Ji would say, there is no greater wonder than this. That same food which is outside, I don't call that as me. But when it becomes one with this physical body, I start calling this body as me. So that is this oneness between Vyashti and Samashti. Through this thread, we should catch hold of the oneness for mind also. Means by appreciating oneness for physical body, we can appreciate the oneness for mind also. Just like individual body and total body, they are one. Individual mind and total mind, they are also one. It is only because of my ignorance I separate myself. And I say, totality is different, I am different. Now, one thing to note here is the totality which is there, it always has affection towards the individual. It has sneha towards Vyashti. Samashti has sneha towards Vyashti, and whatever that Vyashti does, it will make sure that it is taking care of that Vyashti. Best example is our body is Samashti, right? And our hand or finger, let us say, that is Vyashti. Now, how does this body look at this finger? It is part, but it has so much of oneness that as though it has sneha with it. Means anything that this finger does, this body will take care of it. So there it is said, devotee should feel in this way for Bhagavan. Samashti has sneha towards Vyashti. And in what way he expresses, that he only knows. But devotee has this firm conviction that my Bhagavan has sneha towards me. Bhagata Bachalata, Goswami writes that line, he says, just like a mother calf has sneha towards, or mother has sneha towards the calf, mother cow has sneha towards the calf, like that Bhagavan has sneha towards his devotee. Means whatever noble desire comes in his mind, devotee's mind, Bhagavan fulfills. You know where he writes this? When Lakshmanji gets a desire to see Mithila Nagari, when they go for that Dhanush Bhanga, right? Lakshmanji gets his desire that I want to see this Mithila Nagari. And Bhagavan says he's so compassionate towards his devotees, whatever good desires they have, that they will fulfill for his devotee. This Abheda should not become like a very technical topic. There is Vyashti, there is Samashti, and we are trying to make both of it as one. The implied meaning of that is all the devotional practices, where the devotee feels what is really there is my Bhagavan, and he is very well taking care of me. There is Abheda between both of us. But what kind of Abheda? Bheda Sahishnu Abheda. I cannot directly say I am Bhagavan. So what should I say? There is only Bhagavan in whom I am also included. Now, if you have studied Vedantasara, you will appreciate Hanumanji's response to Bhagavan Rama even more. You know that story, right? When Bhagavan Rama one day comes and asks Hanumanji, Hanumanji, tell me, how are we related? How are we related? What does Hanumanji say? Deha buddhyatu dasoham. Meaning what? Vedantasara language. From Upadhi standpoint, I am your dasa. Deha buddhyatu dasoham. From Vyashti Upadhi standpoint, I am dasa of Samashti Upadhi. Means only you are there, my duty is to serve you. Deha buddhyatu dasoham. Jiva buddhyatu amshakah. From the standpoint of Jiva, Vedantasara language, from the standpoint of Upahita Chaitanya, Jiva buddhyatu amshakah. I am your amsha. Means you are the whole, I am the part. Atma buddhya tvameva. From the standpoint of Anupahita Chaitanya, there is no difference between both of us. Upadhi standpoint, I am your dasa. Upahita Chaitanya, I am part, you are whole. And Anupahita Chaitanya, there is no difference between me and you. Iti me nishchitamati. This is my firm conviction, Bhagavan. I will not change my understanding because it has arrived at, I've arrived at this after a lot of thinking. All three levels he points out. So first two levels, right? At Deha level and Jiva level. means at Upadhi level and Upahita Chaitanya level. That is what we are seeing in this verse right now. When it is said there is Abheda, so what Abheda are we talking about? That what is really there is only Bhagavan, in whom I am already included. This sambandha, this relation with Bhagavan, clear knowledge of that is devotion. Clear knowledge of my relation with God, that is called as devotion. If you want in Hindi, there is a very beautiful line. संबंध बोध के नृत्य को भक्ति कहते हैं. संबंध बोध के नृत्य को भक्ति कहते हैं. संबंध बोध means what? The knowledge of my relation with Bhagavan. The dance of this knowledge is called as devotion. Meaning what? This knowledge is so clear, it never goes away. I mean, that sambandha is so deep, I never feel I am separate from Bhagavan. Okay, that is this abheda. Sthula vyashti samashtyoho tad upahita vishwa vaishvanarayoscha. So there is abheda between upadhi and there is abheda between upahita chaitanya. So what are the upahita chaitanyas? Conditioned consciousnesses, Vishwa and Vaishvanara. Vishwa is Vyashti Upahita, Vaishvanara is Samashti Upahita Chaitanya. Vishwa Vaishvanara Yoscha. Examples are given. There is Abheda like what? Vana Vrukshavat. Just like the forest and the tree. Forest and tree Abheda means the oneness between conditioning. Vana Vrukshavat Abhedaha. Then Tad Avachinna Akashavaccha. The conditioned space of tree, conditioned space of forest, between them also there is Abheda. Meaning Upahita Chaitanya also there is Abheda. Tad Avachinna Akashavaccha Jalashaya Jalavat. Second example is that lake example. Between the lake and the drop, there is Abheda. Meaning between Upadhi, there is Abheda. Between the lake and the drop, there is Abheda. Tad Gata Pratibimba Akashavaccha. And the space which is reflected in that lake, space reflected in the drop, between that also there is Abheda. There is oneness. Purovat Abhedaha. Just like we discussed in Karana Sharira and Sukshma Sharira case, here also there is Abheda. In Stula Sharira case also, there is oneness. Okay. So this part, we should keep reflecting. This is the uniqueness of Vedantasara. How do I deepen my devotion to Bhagavan? As a Vedanta sadhaka. Because these are all, Adhyaropa Prakriya. It is very systematically building our understanding towards Nirguna Brahma. Nirguna Brahma doesn't pull anybody towards him, nor does push anybody away from him. Nirguna Brahma is tatastha. Is as it is, he doesn't pull anybody. But Saguna Brahma is not like that. So what we are discussing over here, Vaishvanara, we should understand is Saguna Brahma. Bhagavan through his leelas, through his kathas, he makes sure that our mind is pulled towards him. If you want to get elaboration of this statement, we should read 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. All the leelas Bhagavan did, what was the main thing? Kenapi upayena mana Krishna niveshayet. To pull the minds of all Gokul Vasis, to pull the minds of all, Gopis, Vasudevji, Yashodaji. So that is a role of Saguna Brahma. And both we should appreciate, because right now the mind is stuck with Vishaya. Right? So if it has to come away from Vishaya, so it has to take support of Bhagavan. Previously also we had seen one of the meaning of guna is rope. Guna means rope. Guna, of course, 3 gunas are there, but another meaning of guna is rope. So when it is saguna, means Bhagavan is as though putting that rope outside and saying, hold on to this and I will pull. Pull from that Vishaya And Bhagavan only will make sure that he goes to the next step of Vedanta, next step of Nirguna Brahma. Means he will not stop at Saguna, he will go to Nirguna also. That is his responsibility. Meaning this particular verse, 116th, you can see it in the light of 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what does Arjuna ask? Evam satata yuktaye bhaktasvam paryupasate. He's saying, Bhagwan, in this way, devotees who are there, they worship you. Some are Saguna Bhakta, some are Nirguna. Amongst them, who has known you better? Tesham ke yoga vittama. But the question is, what is that evam? Evam means in this way. But who are those devotees who are meditating upon Bhagwan in this way? So look at the 11th chapter. What is 11th chapter? Vishwarupa Darshan. Bhagwan shows him Vishwarupa, meaning what? He has shown him that he alone is appearing as his entire creation. That is Vishwarupa Darshan. Vaishwanara Rupa, what we saw in 116th verse, Vishwa Vaishwanara Yoho. That is what Arjuna sees, right? So many things are happening in this creation. All of them are happening in Bhagwan only. That Vishwarupa he saw. Now, whenever he sees the world, that devotee, he doesn't see the world, he sees Bhagwan. Why? Because he has understood that my Bhagwan is only appearing as this. So that is the word evam there. Evam satata yuktaye means one who is seeing the world in this way. Bhagwan, tell me, is that person greater or Nirguna Bhakta is greater? One who is abiding in the self. So Bhagwan says both are okay. Both are okay. Either you take me as object of your vritti, means your thought is there. Wherever this thought goes, see me only. Or you go to adhisthana of this vritti, the substratum of this vritti, that is Shuddha Chaitanya. Either case it is okay. Both places you will reach me only. You start as a devotee, I will bring knowledge. Or you start through Vedanta, very soon you will realize you cannot avoid devotion. And Bhagwan only will bring that part. Start with Vedanta, you will go to Bhakti. Or you start with Bhakti, you will come to Vedanta. Maya Vesha Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate. So Bhagwan's answer to Arjuna's question is, those devotees who are able to put their mind in me, doesn't matter Saguna Nirguna. Even Leelas are okay, he says. Even Leelas are okay, but they are able to absorb their mind in me. They are the greatest. How are they doing it? Shraddhaya Parayopeta. They have a lot of faith in their heart, lot of Shraddha in their heart. Another thing about devotion is, even if we don't have too much of technical knowledge, it is okay. Because the main ingredient in devotion is Shraddha. What is Bhagwan's nature? He said, I don't know. Bhagwan knows it. All that I know is he is compassionate and he is the one who is ever willing to shower his grace. How do you know that? He says, I have seen that in my life. And now when we study Vedantasara, little bit more depth should come, that Shraddha should get deepened. We should not say there is no point in studying. Ajnanam will never give sukham. What is said there is, Shraddha is the main ingredient. Even for Devatas, right? We discuss so many things. Now if you say scientifically prove, that Surya Bhagavan is presiding over my eyes. We say no, Pramana is Shastra, and for Devatas, main ingredient is Shraddha. Shraddhaya Parayopetaha. They are the ones, Teme Yukta Tamamata. They are the ones who are the ones who have understood me well. Their minds are very well integrated. Okay, in that way we can understand. Okay, so this Abheda part, the main point we should remember is, it's not a technical concept. it is something that we should internalize in our sadhana. Whatever little sadhana we might be doing, some japa, some puja, after studying Vedanta, that sambandha with Bhagavan should get deeper. I should feel that I am not different from the Lord. Even with conditioning. Means I am Dasa, Bhagavan is my Swami. We are not different to begin with. From Chaitanya standpoint, there is absolute abheda. But from Upadhi standpoint, there is Swami Sevaka Sambandha. Okay. For this person, Bhagavan says, I will take care of all yoga kshema. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyam. Now, who are these people? He says, those who have tuned with me in this way. They constantly meditate upon me. See, we cannot meditate upon the Lord as another person constantly. If you want to constantly meditate upon Bhagavan as somebody else, then you cannot do anything else. Right? Only one mind we have. So what is the practical implication of that verse? Ananyas chintayanto mam means recognize me as this world. Every object of thought is Bhagavan only. With that bhava, when a devotee lives, Bhagavan says, you don't have to worry about yoga kshema. Whatever has to be accomplished, that I will take care. When Samashti is telling this Vyashti, I will take care of you, don't worry too much. Just bring this buddhi, bring this bhava. Okay. 117 is a conclusion of this part. Evam panchikruta panchabhutebhyah Evam panchikruta panchabhutebhyah Stula prapanchotpattihi In this way, from Panchikruta Panchamahabhuta, Stula Prapancha came about. Stula Prapancha, the gross world that we perceive, starting from Panchakarana, then all the 14 worlds, then all the life forms, then the conditioned consciousness, Vaishvanara Vishwa, and then the adidaiva. All those topics, when you get a thorough understanding, you will appreciate how this gross world has come about. So that is concluding. Now the next part is again a small elaboration on whatever we have discussed. We'll not start it today. We'll start it in the next session. We have 2 more sessions before we pause for summer break. Let us see however far we go. I'm not in a hurry to complete the text. All the main points, we should reflect upon. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay. Hari Om.